94.5 FM. And it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show, in Spotlight, where we shine light on incredible Namibians making big moves, inspiring change, and building something meaningful. Today, I'm joined by a man who wears many hats. I mean, a lot of them. Like recently, I found out so much about him. He's an artist, he's an entrepreneur, he's a biker, a lot. Right? And someone who's turning creative energy into impact, and he's the founder of Sikeleza. I know you guys wear those shirts. You all are always promoting those shirts. So, you know, Sikeleza is Patrick Sikeleza, a growing brand that blends art, innovation, and business into something uniquely African and boldly modern. Now, before I say please help me welcome, something that I really picked up and which really stood out to me was before I got into studio, right? Don't mind, we did some TikToks as always, right? Yeah. He told me that, you know what, or he said, I'm refraining from doing trends with other African artists. I'm more on, you know, doing TikToks of Namibian songs, Namibian artists, and also growing our fellow artists. And that really stood out to me, and that says a lot about Mr. Patrick Sikeleza. But let me not rabble-dabble too much, because you're like, Brenda, hi, Sana. It's always you talking. But you know what? Please help me welcome the multi-talented Patrick Sikeleza to the Lunch Zone. Welcome, Patrick. It's so good to have you on the show. I hope you're doing phenomenal. I hope you're doing fantastic, just as good as you look, sir.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
I'm really glad to be here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Patrick, for those who just starting to get to know you, right? How would you describe who you are and what you do in one sentence?
Multifaceted creative or well-rounded creative.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I feel like being creative is a matter of picking any medium that you could use. For example, one of my businesses is Navatango Investment, where the artwork or the art pieces or whatever I'm working with is wood. So be it I'm doing a piece for you for your house or doing a piece for any other office, I am putting creativity into what do you call it? I'm manufacturing from scratch using wood, and it's an artwork.
Exactly, you are creative.
Yeah.
You know. Now, your brand Sikeleza has started turning heads, including mine.
Yes.
What's the meaning behind the name?
But as an artist, you need to grow yourself. You need to at least one day stand back and still have an income. So that's one of the things. I don't want to be one of those people where people are saying, oh, that guy, you see, that guy was once a PDK guy. And there's nothing to show for it.
There's nothing after you being an artist.
What legacy did you leave apart from being an artist? So I'm moving away, and usually what I do is I cannot tell you what to do if I am not doing it. It's the same with when I went to study. I cannot tell the people that are before me, my siblings, to study when I haven't done it. So I have to go through it. So when I'm taking,
I'm
referencing to what I've gone through. I will say, go and study and do this because it is good in this way. It's the same now with the music and the business. Understanding the music business first was just about understanding the music business. So when I understood it, I get to branch that out into other aspects of life. Yes. So that's how I got to be in the business, and also because music is my life.
Yeah,
I can never run away from it.
Yeah,
it will always be there. But how do I make that bigger than what it is, or how do I live off it, and or not just depend on it? But
exactly, because what if you don't get a gig in a month? Then what now? What happens?
Yeah, and you must understand that an artist's payout really is in the shows. The album can come, you sell it for 3 months or maybe more, but then that's it. The album sales, they only come at certain months. Then you have a whole year to go. What do you do? So that's when you have to at least put more effort in marketing so that you get the gigs. The gigs are the ones that sustains the artist.
Okay.
Royalties in Namibia are paid out, once a year. So you cannot survive on royalty. You cannot survive on CD sales. You can only survive on the gigs and any other business that you come up with, like the branding, my t-shirts, the jerseys, and all of those things that I have added on as extras to the music industry,
Okay.
to the music.
Now, I have a quick thought-provoking question to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because me, I like coming for everybody, right?
I welcome anyone who comes for me
Okay.
because I need to be able to stand firm and
Exactly.
Yes.
I love the
yeah,
confidence.
because I've seen it. Not only you said it today,
Mm-hmm.
but anyone else. I thought I heard it from Nahenda again on her social media. See, we have a lot of people who have baseless. What do you call it? They want to say something, but it's baseless.
Yeah.
So now they start saying, "Don't come for me," because they fully didn't understand
Understand what
they're
the question
saying.
is, yeah.
And we have a lot of that going on with the new generation.
Yeah.
which
There's
is
no
accountability.
not even accountability. There's no ground.
Yes, to
There's
what
no
you are
firm
saying.
ground to what you're actually saying.
Yeah. So
Right.
if there is ground, then you don't mind whoever is
gonna
going to
come
come
for
for
you.
you.
Exactly.
Because then you will stand your ground and say, yes, despite what you're saying, this is the reality.
This is what I'm standing
Yes,
firm
this
on.
is what I'm standing for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you see the music industry in Namibia, or even across Africa, right, evolving? And if so, where do you see it heading in the next 5 years? Because let's be honest, right? We are growing. That's a fact, right? The new artists, they're coming
Yes, they're
for the
coming.
industry,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We are being ventured into amapiano,
Yes.
soul, R&B, all over. I mean, we can mention a lot of new upcoming artists.
Yes.
But let's be real, as a guru yourself, right, in the music industry, you've been here from 2006. I mean, I wasn't even maybe born by then.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's a long time ago. But do you see, where do you see us, Namibia? Let me specify it and make it. Where do you see Namibia in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, looking at the recent development into the government actually looking at the creative industry and injecting money into it, I would say we would probably move a lot more faster if that part is done. If that policy is approved and that money is injected in the industry, we would probably do a lot more. We had a kickback due to Corona.
Yeah.
And I still feel like we have 2 more years to get over it.
Okay.
Because a lot of things are starting to pick up now. If you take a look at Africa, the awards are less. And in Namibia, we don't even have an award anymore.
It's taken away.
And there's not so much events that are giving artists a platform. So I feel like we have grown musically, but in terms of shows and representation and platforms, that is lacking. And the other platforms that comes, these are platforms that are designed by people who do not really take ownership of who we are. They, because I've seen past shows. There was a show I went to watch. They invited, I think, was it Mafikizolo? Yeah. But then I went to this show, and I imagined myself as a foreigner coming to this show. A Namibian show that doesn't feature Namibian show.
Exactly. And that's where the problem comes from, where we don't actually spotlight Namibian artists in Namibian shows. Because me as a creative, I'm expecting to see a Namibian artist, a group, a duo perform, but then you're importing another artist or duos to come and perform at a Namibian event.
And you're not pairing or highlighting a Namibian artist, and the other one comes as a supporting artist. And I see it with our bands also. Plenty of bands. Yesterday we had an MTC show.
Yeah.
They booked Pocket Band. We have so much Namibian music. Yeah, you could play any of the Namibian music that the Buti, any music you wanna play from the Namibian. MTC does a great job in terms of payments of artists, in terms of keeping everything.
They booked out most of all the artists that we all know and you jam to.
So now you have this band, it's Namibian, but the content they are playing is Western. Yeah, it's not Namibian, it's East Africa. It's not Namibian. So I'm wondering to myself, you want to say in your whole time slot, you cannot find any Namibian song that you can fit in there for you to play. And you want me to make use of you as a band to go play somewhere. Yeah. So these are the small things that we need to change for the industry to still keep posting.
Exactly.
To boost ourselves. Radio, you guys have a bigger role to play. You shape minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Your perception matters. But if you are competing with the artists, because there was a time where DJs, radio DJs, decided to make their own music, and then they decided they were competing with the artists. That's when the shift of Namibian music started getting less play. Because now you are a DJ, you have your own music,
Exactly.
and now you're in competition with Patrick Sikiliza. You are no more playing his song. You rather play outside music because you are in a competition with Patrick Sikiliza.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Doesn't make sense, because now you're putting your personal into it, and it sucks because as radio presenters, including myself, you're supposed to play local music.
Yes.
It should be on your playlist at least twice in your show. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or more than that, right?
It should be more.
But drifting away from that a little bit, we talk a lot about influence, right?
Yes.
In your own opinion, how can artists use their platforms not just to entertain but to drive real change? And speaking about change, Namibia is going through something very horrible.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okahanja has lost 3 beautiful baby girls, right?
Yeah.
As entertainers, as artists, creators, how do you think artists can use their platforms now to bridge that gap and come together and create something that can make everybody aware of what's really going on? Because through music you inform, you also, people get to know what's really going on. Because if I see Patrick Sikiliza jamming to a song that is talking about end GBV and feminine genocide, most definitely I'm gonna keep it's also beneficial to you because I'll be streaming that song. Because now currently what is happening is on TikTok we are putting Stop GBV alongside a South African song. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense because it's happening in Namibia, and someone who is not even African will think that Namibia is part of South Africa because of the song that is being played behind a Stop GBV in Okahanja. Right?
I feel like understanding where you are is very important. Being in tune with the local scene and everything that is happening is very important, because that feeds into your music, that feeds into your live stream, that feeds into anything that you are putting out there.
Exactly.
So, number one, we have a serious situation happening in Okahanja. By the way, when there is news today that those guys might be in Windhoek, because there's an SMS that came through one of the parents group that talks about 2 kids being adopted at Faith Primary School somewhere in Vanaida, and they have taken 2 girls, and they were supposed to take another one, a sixth grader, and she managed to escape. That's how the news started getting to this group. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, I would really, really, really urge the community to just be on the lookout, and anybody who's taking a child in a funny or suspicious way, they need to explain themselves. Because when we leave things happening like that, because we live in a world where people are really just minding,
you're minding your own business. It's not my problem.
They're not there's no self-awareness. There's no growing up. Any parent can beat you and tell you that what you are doing is wrong.
Exactly.
Nowadays, the right is given to a child to respond.
Only your kid, because now it's like, it's my kid, I'll discipline my kid. But growing up, even if you're doing a mistake in the street, an auntie that you don't even know is allowed to beat you.
Will reprimand you. Reprimand you and take you to your house. So I think it's very important to an artist to understand all of those things, because number one, it doesn't end in studio. I could go in studio and record this song.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this song needs to go in public. And when you do that, you are raising awareness. On your platforms, when you speak about, when things come like this, go on your platform, say 2 or 3 things, what you feel. Whoever is following you would understand, would also relate and whatnot. Places like the platform that was going to be in Okahanja, what is this? Okahanja Tourism Expo. If I was the mayor, I would have not even gone through all of that. You see, sometimes communication is very important. This is why we need artists or people who are rather know how to communicate with people. That's why you need a communication department in any institution. Instead of you telling people, no, we can't do this, because we need to make money. You could turn the whole platform into an awareness platform. You can have 2 shrines or 3 shrines for these women that lost their lives,
and turn it back into a whole
yes.
way of, turning the expo into a way of, what, this money that we're
And
getting for the
advocacy,
expo
yes.
can give back to the funerals of these kids,
Yes.
give back to making the school
Bring
a much
a
more
flower,
inclusive,
yes.
protective space for the children.
Yes. Safe spaces. Tell the artist whenever you go on stage, this is the message. This is what we are advocating this night.
Exactly.
Yes. You are in Okahanja. You are advocating. You are creating awareness. All of this. The event becomes the centerpiece of what is happening.
It becomes about what's happening in the town.
Now, bring a candlelight. There is a night where we are doing a candlelight for these kids. There is a night where there are things that we are doing just to improve the town.
Exactly.
Because when you communicate right, when you think about your community right, everything kinds of falls in place. So an artist is not just an artist. You are communicating. You are a working billboard. You are a father. You are a brother. You are many things. So I think it's very important.
It's very much important. Now, let me ask you this question. With everything you've experienced so far, right, as a father, a husband, an artist, entrepreneur, a boss, a CEO, you are so many things, right? What moment made you feel like you're truly walking in your purpose? That one moment that you just paused, you were like, you know what, this is my moment.
The fact that I'm still here with the music, obviously. With the music, there are instances where someone comes to you and says, Patrick, you know that song, Tashkenda Nawa? Or do you know that song, what is the song? There's another song, Victory.
Okay.
Or you know that song. It changed my life. It's the song that I use every day. If I do not have energy to wake up, I put it on and I have energy and I'm inspired. I'm all charged up. When a person comes to you and tells you that, then you did that. Yeah, and then songs like Victory. One guy came up to me, brah, I was about to go do something very, very, very stupid. But then I heard your song playing, and instead of going, I went to listen to it. From there, I forgot about what.
Exactly.
So things like that makes you feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because if it has touched that one person who came to me, how many more people
have you touched?
So you without knowing, you are touching lives, you are improving people's lives and whatnot. In terms of business, it's the little that comes back when people refer back to you and say, no, that is the guy who decided can take me on, and this is why I am here. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I love it.
You love it? We can see the glow on your face.
I love it. Yeah.
Now, what keeps you grounded and motivated besides your song when things get tough or when the results didn't come right away?
Family.
Okay.
So I'm from a family that is very supportive. My siblings, my parents. Even when I started music, we have instances where people are... That time, parents didn't understand music. So they will tell you, but my parents never did that. My sisters never did that. Instead, they gave for us to move forward.
Okay.
So that support from my parents was groundbreaking. And then now my immediate family, my wife and my kids, we like one big apple.
You're one.
Yes. So anything that is going on in the world, no matter how hard it is, when I come back home, I'm coming to a home where I'm appreciated, where I'm loved, where I'm told it's fine, Daddy, don't worry. Yeah, tomorrow it's another day. So that's what keeps me grounded. And the most important one is God. I'm very much spiritual, and He makes it so easy.
And we see it through your music, by the way.
It makes it so easy because peaceful. There's a sense of peace that comes with the word.
Exactly, and so with the song Smile.
Yes.
Now my last question to you is, what advice would you give to young Namibians trying to break into the music or business world but feel like they don't have the resources or connections?
When we started, we never had resources or connections. But we started. people will join the work. They will get on the train. Start somewhere.
Okay.
The very good example is this Damon Met guy. He started where he is, and he is pushing it. We are looking at him, and if there's any opportunity that comes, we know where to go because we see that there is something happening.
Exactly.
So start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you have. When I started my woodworking business, I didn't have anything, but I started. My wife bought me a drill as a birthday gift. And the only problem I had was my kids didn't have they are 3 and I only had 1 bed. So I wanted bunk beds. So I decided to get pallets so I can make that bunk bed. And I called a friend of mine who was studying at UNAM Visual Arts. And then I called him, come help me do this bunk bed. He had an experience with wood. So we built that. From there, I kept on doing until where people started calling me to do work for them. So start somewhere. And excuses. Nowadays, I've had, apart from many other things, I'm a lecturer. So students, the excuses that they have, sometimes, it makes me wonder where we are going. A headache can just ruin a whole day for someone. But for me, a headache, it's a matter of me drinking water or just taking a nap so that I reset myself.
Just
and then,
rest.
yes, yeah. But with this generation, is like they get into a wall and that's it. They don't know that you can go around it or you can jump
under,
it.
like
you
the song.
Yeah.
There's what? It's those songs we grew up singing.
Yeah.
There's no mountain you can go over it.
Yeah.
The Christian song, my
Yes.
guys.
I get what you're saying, but I don't
yeah.
know the song that much. So there is more than one way to get to where you need to go.
I mean,
Just
if
don't
God
get.
can move mountains, why
Yes.
can't you?
Why can't you? So and I think the one thing that I would also say is ground yourself in the Word, because then there's so much wisdom in there. There's so much morality in there. There's so much love and it just improves everything.
Okay.
Yes.
And I love it for us. And that's a wrap for today's In Spotlight. A big thank you to Mr. Patrick Sikeleza for joining us and sharing his journey, vision, and hustle with us. I learned a thing or two. I took something, I wrote something down in my notebook, there up in my brain. Now remember, it's not just about talent, it's about the mindset, the purpose, and the persistence.
Yes.
Now, Patrick is proof that with a strong vision and community behind you, you can build something that speaks louder than words. You can follow Sikeleza on social media and support local. That's how we grow. Also, stay tuned for our TikTok content.
Yes. One more thing, please. When they say local content, everything that is produced locally, it is local content. But when they say local music, they mean a portion of that local content. So I'd really urge each and every one of the DJ presenters, radio presenters, DJ and whatnot, in whatever establishment you are, please let's play more Namibian music. Regardless of who you are playing, you are still paying. And if you play more outside, you paying outsiders, then you paying your own Namibian brothers and sisters. So let's keep it home. Let's do more for home. Then charity begins at home, guys. Yes.
It begins within, from home. Now, with that, besties, I have to love and leave you. Now, do stay tuned because coming up next, we're diving into our first round of Battle of the Beats.